another game that looked really fun. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a 3D platformer where this girl has a yo-yo. I watched some gameplay of it.
Yo-yo Ma.
It...
It's so dumb.
Ben out of the call.
We expect the process. Open your eyes. Open your eyes.
I'm scared.
I am worried.
Open your eyes. Wake up,
Mine
Link.
are open.
No.
Okay, no.
No. Let her cook. Let her cook.
No, the cooking is ceased. I will not
Cease culinary activities.
cease the
All right.
activities.
No, I want to hear. I want to hear
That's
what the
literally
rest of
it.
this was going.
That's literally it. I was gonna say all your names, but then Aidan decided that he was done.
I killed it. Unless you want to. No, we're not.
No, I think we could keep going. You could be like, instead of like, you are the light that must shine on Hyrule.
I
once again, you
honestly
could be like,
don't know the rest of the opening.
Ah.
That's all.
Okay. Well.
no, it works.
Welcome everyone
Link.
to the 6th episode of season 4. I've made sure my audio settings work, so this shouldn't give us any issues. We're
Again.
here. Cort is actually here. Cort, did you like the GIF that was your placeholder
I
last
did.
week?
I saw that when I watched the recap. I saw that and I was like, and it's so funny that you guys chose that GIF because like we used to use that GIF because like as like a not a stand-in, but like my little brother Mac, when he was little, one looked like that kid, and then two would like have like little random like like outbursts where he would like make the noises that kid makes. And so then I saw that GIF and I was like, this works so well. This is perfect.
I found out the other day that the little kid in that GIF grew up to run for BYU.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
That's really funny.
Yep.
Yeah, it was Lillian's idea to put that gifted individual.
It's a
as
very
your-
funny one.
That gifted individual.
That very gifted child. Anyways, let's get right into some news. Let's start with Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Pictures of Spider-Man on my desk. Updates.
Yes.
They announced an update coming to the game.
Yes, there is an
Finally.
update. In this new update, they are allowing you to like replay the game with all of your suits and abilities on a harder difficulty after you've played it. Or you can just play a couple of the missions. And they've added some new suit styles, so there's more customization. So it's not a huge update, but it is kind of cool. I think that a lot of times it's really fun to replay a game that's a little bit harder with like your stuff carrying over. That seems to be kind of a common trope in games.
Yes, New Game Plus is a
Plus.
pretty common stand for in
It's-
single player games.
It's actually, it's kind of an interesting, I can add a little more context because I've been waiting on this update for forever since I played.
He's been
played
waiting.
Spider-Man 2 when it first came out, and the whole like Spider-Man game community has been like begging for this because when Spider-Man 2 launched, it launched without a lot of these features that the other two games in the series launched with. Like the other two games of the series had New Game Plus, like they had a lot of these like other suits. They had a bunch of like, they had the ability to replay missions, or at least the Miles Morales one did. They had all this different stuff. And so when Spider-Man 2 launched without any of it, it felt kind of like incomplete a little bit. And people were even pointing to it as like one of the big like pieces of evidence that Sony kind of forced them to rush this out the door, which is, we are now pretty super duper sure did happen. But but so anyway, so like they said like way back after it released, they're like, don't worry, it's coming. We know you guys want it. It'll be out before the end of 2023, we promise. And then it was not. And then they were like, it'll be out in January, and then it was not. And then they were like, it'll be out in February, and then it was not. And then they were like, okay.
Now it's February.
Yeah, they were
The
like,
end of
It's
now
coming in
February.
March,
It's
guys.
gonna be out March
Yes.
7th. We promise for realsies. And so I don't know.
For
They're-
realsies.
They're adding a lot of stuff that people are pretty excited about. So obviously, New Game Plus, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Do you guys care if I spoil the game a little bit? There's a little
Yeah, go for it.
spoiler thing that they're.
Go ahead.
Venom.
So they're
Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
What?
So basically in the game it kind of does the whole Venom arc. So Peter gets the Venom symbiote and he kind of goes evil and then he loses it, but then near the end of the game he gets like this, like something happens to him and he gets basically his Venom powers back, but in the form of the anti-Venom suit. That's like it gives him all of the Venom abilities plus some new Venom type abilities, but it's like a white Venom suit. And it's one that he controls rather than it controlling him. It's not like its own sentient thing. It's like fully under his control. And anyway, it's super cool. But all of the Venom abilities use like from that point forward, once you get the anti-Venom, you use like this like white tendrils now, you know, instead of like the black tendrils that the Venom suits, that you have when you're part Venom, you know, you use like these white anti-Venom tendrils, including, and this was just a crazy oversight that they didn't have this, even when you go back and select like black symbiote suits, you know, like so like you could be wearing like the full symbiote suit that he wears when he's possessed by Venom, and it would still, when you use those abilities, have these white tendrils come out instead of the black tendrils, and it just looks so goofy. Like it looks so goofy, and so like that was like the number one thing that people were like, "Can we please just like, can we choose what color our Venom powers are? Because having the white ones, the white tendrils with these all black suits just looks so stupid, just
funny.
looks so goofy, you know, like." And they're like, we want to still be like the Venom Spider-Man, you know, even post like after we've played the game. And so anyway, so that was a big thing that they like confirmed. They're like, okay, yes, you can change your color now.
Green Venom. Finally, there can be Slime Man from Nickelodeon.
Slime Man.
But so, and then they you know, yeah, and then like Lillian was saying, they're adding a few new suits. They're adding a few new like different color swaps for different suits. The suits that they're adding
they're quite silly looking.
They're quite goofy. So they're adding 4 new suits because they made like a big thing about making sure that Miles and Peter, who are both playable, have an equal number of suits, which has been difficult because Miles is a much newer character and as such just doesn't have nearly as many suits to draw from. So they had to cut a lot of Peter's suits to make them balanced. But it's so like with this one, they're adding 4 new suits, two for Miles, 2 for Peter, and one of the sets is actually this pretty cool set, and it's called like, it's one that's been requested, and it's from this series of comics called like the Hellfire Gala, or since this is a BYU podcast, the Heckfire Gala, and it's like. And there's like these different outfits that Peter and Miles have that they're just like dressed up like in these like super like designer outfits. Like they actually look pretty sick, and I'm pretty excited for them. But the other two
are really weird.
And actually Miles' Heckfire Gala one also looks a little goofy because they didn't translate it from the comic version super well, so he looks just kind of it's a whole thing. But anyway, But the other two they're adding them as like part of a charity thing. So it's like a paid pack. Like you can buy the two outfits for like $5 or something. And like 100% of the proceeds from buying that pack goes to this charity. And then eventually in a few months or sometime down the line, they'll add those suits in for free for everyone.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we don't want to make people pay for suits. Which is really cool of them, but
I think that's a good method of.
But the suits look so goofy. Like they're like you know, like those like way over the top 80s track suits. You know, that you wear. Like it's like that, but like it also like Spider-Man costumes. But like they're wearing like, you know, with like the hats and like the bright pinks and blues and yellow, like the bright. It looks so it's one of those things that it's like it's so dumb that it might actually be kind of fun to like play as, but you know, what
It's funny. But
That
yeah,
is funny.
Spider-Man 2 update. I think New Game Plus is honestly the best part of it. New Game Plus is always fun to play in a game. Continue on DLC though. Elden Ring also announced DLC, the game of the year from, you know,
Yeah, a couple years.
2 years ago. They announced DLC. I don't know anything about Elden Ring. Allegedly, according to Skylar, if you know like Elden Ring like lore, you can like watch the trailer and like figure out what's going on. I don't know anything. For those of you that do know things about Elden Ring and are excited about it, June 21st, get your Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC. And for those of you like me who don't know anything about Elden Ring, it's happening. And I guess
people are excited.
it's a thing, and people are excited about it.
It's an interesting. It's a $40 DLC.
Yeah,
they're charging $40 for it.
Wow.
But like it seems reasonable because like from everything they've been talking about it so far,
It basically seems like another game.
Yeah, it seems like it's essentially Elden Ring 2 repackaged as a DLC. Like, because I mean they've been talking about it, and it seems like it has just an absurd amount of content, which is completely on brand for you know, FromSoft. So. Wait, is it FromSoft or
Software?
Whatever. Those guys.
Yeah, that one. Anyway, so yeah, just quick. That's happening. Cort, what the heck is this Skull and Bones thing? I'm showing ignorance here.
I can't believe none of you guys have heard of Skull and Bones. Okay.
I've heard of Skull and Bones as part of your skeletal system.
I'll beat you up. Okay, so picture this. The year is a long time ago. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag has just released to the world. We're all probably still in like middle or high school or younger, I don't know. And like we're wee lads. And Assassin's Creed 4 or wee lass in Lillian's case. But we're Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is just released and it's a huge success. The ship combat is a blast. The game is super fun. And everyone likes being pirates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was forever ago. Around that time, Ubisoft was like, wow, this game with pirates and stuff is really cool and everyone loves it. We should make a big multiplayer version of this where you can be pirates and sail in the open seas and like basically just reuse Black Flag's naval combat. And everyone was like, that actually sounds like a really good idea, Ubisoft. You should do that. That was like 20 years ago. So pretty soon, it wasn't actually 20 years, but pretty soon after, like they started development on Skull and Bones, like pretty soon after Assassin's Creed 4 released, which was a long time ago. And it has been stuck in development, not heaven. Like development for
not
long
development,
time.
not heaven.
It has become a meme about Ubisoft saying Skull and Bones is finally going to release in 2019, and then it's like, nope, Skull and Bones is finally going to release in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, and it finally released after like years. I mean, I don't think there is a single other game except, well, no, not even, because I was going to say the only game I can think even comes close is like, they announced Dead Island 2 like back in, you know, the dawn of time, and it came out.
Elder Scrolls 6 is kind of on a similar like.
And Elder Scrolls 6, but like those games, they were never like supposed, like we were never given release dates, and then the release date just kept getting put. Like Skull and Bones was originally supposed to and had like a set release date for like literally like 2018 or something. Like it was and then it just kept like they had like dates locked in, and then it just kept getting pushed back and back. And like there's been interviews with people from behind the scenes, like developers on it, and it's basically just been this huge mess where like executives will come down and be like, we should add this to the game, and then the developers will spend like a year working on this thing,
the executives
will be like, actually, that's a bad idea. We shouldn't do that. And then they'll just have to scrap the whole thing.
The executive meddling. The Overwatch 2 effect.
Yeah. So anyway, it has been years in just delay after delay, and it finally came out. And you guys aren't gonna believe this, but guess what?
It sucks.
It's pretty bad. Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, here's what I think is funny though. I'm looking at this. Ubisoft is calling it a quadruple A game. And it's basically the same level as Assassin's Creed Black Flag that came out 11 years ago.
It's worse.
It's worse than Assassin's Creed Black
it's
Flag.
worse.
That's what kills me. Because Assassin's Creed Black Flag was so cool because you could be out on your boat and being a pirate. And then also you could like go inland and like do piratey things on land, or you could like board other people, like you could board other ships and like fight on other ships and take them over. You cannot do any of those things in Skull and Bones. Like you are constantly on your ship and it's just all naval combat. Like the only time you get off of your ship is to like go onto like hub areas where you can go and like buy stuff. Like that's it. There's no out of ship combat. There's no anything like that. You can't even board other ships and fight people on their ships. It's just like a cutscene that plays when you board another ship. Like it is
horrible.
Horrendously, like it is just like, yeah, it is. And it sucks because the concept of Assassin's Creed 4's gameplay
in like an MMO fashion
multiplayer game is sick. Like done well, that could be like a Pirates of the Caribbean type, I don't know, like open world multiplayer pirate game like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we see it a little bit in Sea of Thieves. Like Sea of Thieves isn't exactly the same, but it's kind of got that energy, you know? Like a game like that could have been so dope, but anyway, Skull and Bones is not it. But anyway, it finally came out. It finally
Congratulations, guys.
Years and
Congratulations,
years.
Ubisoft. Your terrible game finally came out. Good job. Another game that's, I believe, I don't know a whole lot about this. Ben, you know more. But Riot is talking about a fighting game? Is that what's being made?
Yeah, they're making a side screen fighting game along the same lines of Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. And it's gotten mixed reviews, but people have generally been excited for it. And then they just released the name for it. Before, it's been known as Project L. And then I think it was like 2 days ago, they released, okay, this is what the name's going to be. And it's 2XKO.
2XKO.
That does kind of roll off the tongue a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the general reaction to the name has been pretty negative. About like
Not surprised.
2X, and it doesn't look that it visually doesn't look that great.
Yeah.
Audibly, it's okay at best. 2XKO.
Is it spelled like the number 2, the letter X, K, and O?
K-O.
Or is it like
Yeah, no, it is exactly that.
Yeah, it's the number 2XKO.
They should have just kept it as Project L.
Yeah, what I've seen is people just saying, I'm just going to keep calling it Project L. And so...
Is it set in the League universe?
It's, yeah, you play as, like, the League champions in fighting game style.
Okay.
Like, I don't know how much... They've released a little bit of gameplay footage.
Yeah, they released kind of, like, in their year in review, kind of like a video kind of showcasing some of the stuff about it. It looks like, I mean, it looks like they kind of take the, you know, your cartoony art style, and it looks like the UI, the health bars gives me Persona vibes. Is like how is the best way that I can kind of describe what it looks like to me when I'm looking at it is like the health bars and everything looks like they saw Persona and went, I like that. Let's make our UI look like that. Rather than making it try and look...
It's kind of funny because that's exactly what Sakurai did with Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah,
like,
it
word
is the
for
same
word.
kind
Like
of vibe.
he saw Persona 5's UI and said, "I like that. I'm going to use it," and that's why Smash Ultimate looks the way it does. Even said so, like in interviews and stuff.
So like it does have kind of that arcane kind of art style to it with like 3D models but 2D textures, and the general reaction to it. For like the gameplay wise, people like actual fighting game players looking at the gameplay previews, it has not been that great as well. The people who play fighting games religiously or like go to the fighting game tournaments, they're looking at, they're like, it looks too slow. Like it looks like the things that happen are, it's either like it's so slow, but there's no like counterplay to it, or it's so slow you're never gonna be able to hit anything. And the overall, like, it's just been like the people fall to the ground too slowly, so it lets you do like combos way too easy, and like there's no counterplay to it for like getting out of combo breaking or something like that. And also, I don't know who came up with this idea first, but have y'all seen anything about Mortal Kombat 1? Like that just came out like last year, I think.
Oh, the new one. I haven't seen a ton about it, but
so it introduced the system where you have two fighters per side.
Oh, right,
and, like,
the Switch fighter,
yeah. And so
fighter,
Project L had that system. It like announced it back in like 2018. No, not 2018. Like 2020. It announced that system of like a dual fighter system. And so I don't know if Mortal Kombat just took that idea and then just did it faster, or Kombat had that system first and Riot copied it, or if they just both kind of had the idea at the same time. And
I mean, that's not an entirely unique idea, though. Other fighting games have that. I think Guilty Gear kind of uses that as well. So it's not like some revolutionary new concept for fighting games.
Well, I've never heard of Guilty Gear, so I think that's why I think it was between Mortal Kombat and Riot.
I have some friends back in Houston who are big Guilty Gear and fighting game enjoyers. But
I know what Guilty Gear is because Donkey played a video. Donkey did a video of him playing it, and it was pretty funny. So that's how I know what Guilty Gear is.
The Lawrences watch watch Donkey religiously.
Donkey is there.
We absolutely do.
So yeah, Riot kind of going into the fighting game market doesn't seem like it's.
It doesn't seem like it's starting very well, but like based off their other games, I do think it will eventually get to a good place. Like all their games that have had kind of poor releases at the beginning, they quickly fix it and make the proper changes to make it in the end turn out pretty well. Yeah. So
I think that they'll be doing all right. I think
they'll be doing all right. It'll be a little rough. Maybe they'll fix some things before release, but it'll be exciting to play League Champions in like a fighting game.
Yeah. The big final news topic that happened this last week is Nintendo had their partner direct, the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. So it was kind of used not to show like a bunch of first-party Nintendo games, but used to kind of showcase other titles that'll be coming to Switch, or titles that'll be not just to Switch, because Microsoft also announced some games, as did Sony, I think, that would be coming to Switch, among other things. Some of the most notable ones, they're doing a complete remaster of the first Epic Mickey game. So I've seen some of the comparisons. It's like completely reanimated. They basically did the Halo 2 anniversary approach to Epic Mickey for
which
this
is
one.
awesome.
Yeah, because that was a fun game. I think I played that game, and it was
a little janky though. It had the Wii jank to it.
Yeah, I mean, all games that were on the Wii had that kind of jankiness. So I was kind of used to it at that point.
It kind of had some jank. So that was an exciting one. They announced like a new Gundam game, new Super Monkey Ball game. They announced a sequel to World of Goo, or like
World
of Goo. Like they announced a handful of other things. A Suika game. Any Suika game enjoyers?
Yeah,
a multiplayer mode.
It's a game. Paid DLC. I'm pretty sure.
Yep. Good old Suika game.
The thing that blew me away, and I mean they announced it for a lot of different things, but I think they initially brought it up at the Nintendo Direct, and it's going to be on a lot of platforms. But they're bundling the two original Battlefront games.
Yes, I saw that.
Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2, like the original.
Giving you some extra stuff like Jabba's Palace, Cloud City,
bundling them together with a couple extra maps and heroes, and then also like how there was that secret like hero battle mode in Battlefront 2 where it was like all the heroes fighting each other.
Yeah, they're adding
but it was only on Mos Eisley.
Fisto.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
making that available.
I think it is interesting though, because it's like these games have been on Steam since like the dawn of time. So so it's like anyone at this point that enjoys these games already has them.
I think the biggest thing is just going to be that they're restarting server support for both, because I mean through this, because I don't think either game currently has
Steam
like
does.
server support.
If you played
Really?
Battlefront 2 on Steam, the servers are up. They've been up for a few years now.
Oh, dang, I don't know.
So when they like, it's really cool that they're bringing these games to console. But at the end of the day, anyone that loved these games enough to want to play them already kind of has them. So,
like, to be honest, I have no desire to play these games. Like, I really enjoyed them back when I was like 15, but like, I just
it's
a
like
lot of the Nintendo Direct seem to be like a lot of games being brought.
like they're bringing like a rare collection, so like a bunch of rare games are coming in. But like with the Star Wars Battlefront 1 specifically, it's like, if they were wanting, like, maybe it's just because like all the Star Wars hype, but I feel like if they had done this like 6-7 years ago, it would have sold like hotcakes. I think now it might still sell well, but I think they've missed the it's been out on Steam for so long.
I think honestly what they need to do if they really want this to be successful, and I don't think they've really said anything to this amount, but I mean, I think if they up the textures, like gave it like a,
they did say that they've said that the games have been remastered and updated. So I don't know to like what extent,
to what degree,
like, to what degree are they being remastered? Because you can mod Battlefront 2 through Steam with texture overhauls and stuff. Like, you're able to do that. I think the other thing that'll really determine how well it does, though, is what they charge for it. Because you can get both these games for no more than $20 on Steam, and if it's a sale, you can get them both for like $10. So if they sell this bundle for anything more than $20, they are stealing people's money.
Yeah, I think honestly, if they really wanted to do a full justice to these games, make the textures higher. So like remaster it, give it, unlock the frame rate, give it better frame rate, support stuff too. And I think they probably will, at least those two. But the biggest thing to me, the biggest thing that shows the age of those games, and honestly, like nothing else, because I feel like in every other regard, those games have aged.
Those games aged pretty well.
The only thing that I feel like they really would need to add to really bring it like a new to the new like generation is it kills me playing either game and there being no ragdoll physics.
Wait, you don't like that your bodies just drop to the ground limp?
Like, just like the pre-built, like these pre-built death animations, they kill me. Like, I can't, like, if they were to like up the textures, up the look of it,
unfortunately, Cort, I don't think that's gonna be happening.
And then somehow make it so that there was ragdoll.
I don't think that's gonna be happening, because that requires them to overhaul the source engine a little bit. It's not happening.
They'd have to change so much, but that would be what would really be like.
That's so silly. That definitely was an announcement that came out of left field, though. I will say, like, no one was expecting this, especially because it's coming to all like the major consoles. Like, everyone will get it. I just think they missed the opportunity for this to really do well, because these have been on Steam for ages and they're easy to get, and the servers have been up on Steam. At least for Battlefront 2.
I really think the place where this is going to do the best is the Switch.
I think the Switch,
because
having a handheld version of Battlefront games.
Like, I don't really think I'm going to buy this on Steam because I already have Battlefront, and that's there is some new stuff, but like not like but it's like on the Switch. Sure, I'd love to play some Battlefront 2 on my Switch, just like on the go sometimes. Like I could totally
I will
see
say what's really funny about Battlefront 2 is when you use a controller with it. I didn't realize this until I had booted it up on Xbox, because they released it on Xbox One, like backwards compatibility, like ages ago. And the aim assist is ludicrously strong. We're talking it's practically aimbot.
It is.
When you're playing against AI, it locks on and it just tracks. So it is kind of silly. But so that one was announced. For me personally, the game that I was most excited about that caught everybody off guard was they announced a new Sword Art Online game at a Nintendo Direct. It was so, like, I did not have that on my bingo. Like, if I didn't have Star Wars Battlefront, like the OG games being announced at Nintendo Direct on my bingo board, but I definitely didn't have an SAO game being announced at a Nintendo Direct, especially because they had said that when Last Recollection was released, they were like, this is going to be the final game of the Gameverse, and everyone interpreted that to mean, oh, so no new SAO games. And then they released this one, and they're like, no, it's not connected with the Gameverse. It's a completely new, and we're like, oh, okay, that's what you meant by new Gameverse.
Last game.
So it's like, it's developed by the company that did Fatal Bullet, which is generally regarded as one of the better of the SAO games, and it seems to be focused around multiplayer gameplay.
Yeah.
So it seems to be a kind of a boss dungeon raid style game where you group up with other people and fight bosses, and it seems like this.
What game does it take place in?
Well, so I think it's I believe it's like the story is that there's some like new system added to Alfheim that like brings a bunch of like timelines and universes together, so it's like characters from all over the story.
Yeah, it kind of was like you can play as any character from the story type of thing.
It's kind of like all the characters kind of like come together and are put, so like the bosses in these dungeons take place in GGO or in SAO or in Alfheim, so it seems like it's like all of the universe have been like shoved together through something that's happened. So but it's unrelated to the Gameverse that has been developed over the last like decade plus, and it's an entirely new thing. The textures look way better than anything we've had since like Fatal Bullet, which is great because I'm gonna be completely honest, that game engine was garbage and needed to go a long time ago. They farmed that game engine way too long. Some like attempt at cell shade, it was terrible. So it looks good. It was out of left field, and it's like releasing this year. So it was like a surprise. Here's a new SAO game. It's coming out in 2024. Open beta starts in March, and everyone's like, closed beta starts in March, and everyone's like, oh, okay. So I have signed up for the closed beta. I hope I get a chance to play it because new SAO games are fun as an SAO enjoyer. But that was the one that kind of caught me off guard the most because I just opened Twitter that afternoon and just saw all these tweets and trailers for the SAO game, and I was like, oh, what? I was pleasantly surprised by Twitter. Yes. So that was fun.
Yeah, another game that looked really fun. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a 3D platformer where this girl has a yo-yo. I watched some gameplay of it.
Yo-yo ma.
Quick, Ben out of the call.
Second process.
Okay, Ben.
Anyways, it seems really cute. If you like 3D platformers, it seems like a really fun game from the gameplay that I watched. So.
Penny's Big Breakaway.
Yes.
I like my title better.
Yo-yo mama.
Yo-yo ma. Unfortunately, that is a person.
Zooey mama.
Zooey mama. But yes, the fun games were announced. A little bit of something for everyone. But it's cool that they had this kind of showcasing non-Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Kind of being released on other platforms. That was most of the major news. Unless anyone's got something final before we.
Oh, wait, I did.
Cort does.
I had one more that I found while I was looking through. A game got announced. I didn't really find out about this. My brother sent me a TikTok or Instagram reel or something that was like showcasing this game's announcement trailer. And I saw it and I was like, this actually looks like a ton of fun. So the announcement trailer starts off with it's kind of like a big like medieval battle. Kind of think like Mount and Blade, maybe like a little Total War in there, like big, large scale medieval battle. And you're like, okay, this looks cool. Like the graphics look nice and blah, 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 blah. And then suddenly it goes into like a third person view and this like truck, like just think like, like pickup truck, like that you'd see in, just on the road.
Okay.
Just plows through this army of medieval soldiers. What? Just starts sending them flying. And then
sounds like
this
some
guy
Source filmmaker kind of stuff.
This guy gets out like of the truck in like full knight's armor with a shotgun, and then just starts like going at it, and then it cuts to all these different things where basically it seems like the whole concept of this game is like these large scale medieval battles where you are like your character can travel through time and go and like get like modern weapons and like guns, cars, and like at one point it shows this like full on like military grade helicopter flying over this medieval battlefield, just like raining missiles on these soldiers, and it's like so that's silly. The whole concept. But then also on top of that, it's like a double kind of game where it's like you can seamlessly switch between like third person, you're your character on the ground just mowing dudes down with an AK and they have their swords and stuff, or you can like seamlessly switch and make it like a top down
an RTS,
like an RTS where you command.
Wait a minute.
And so like there's also like a whole like kingdom like building aspect of it. So
so you're playing. So it's a combination of Civ 4, StarCraft, totally accurate
like,
war battle simulator.
Yeah, like it basically like the whole concept of it basically seems like it's like the whole concept is you're this guy who can travel between time periods, and you use this ability to go get a ton of huge crazy weapons from the future, bring them to the past, and then build up your own like powerful medieval empire in the past using all of this super powerful weaponry. And like the gameplay actually looks ridiculously fun because it's like it's like this horde of like knights coming at him, and he just like whips out a machine gun and just like it's so goofy. He's like running them down with like a truck, and like it looks so stupid. It looks so fun.
What was the name of this game?
It's called Kingmakers.
Kingmakers.
And it's multiplayer, I think. Like,
write that down. Write that down.
Yeah.
Like, anyway,
that's so silly. That's awesome.
It looks intriguing to say the least.
It's a very funny looking game.
That's so silly. All right. Well, I think that's all the news. Now it's time for fun stuff. So,
Funny moment.
You know, every time, when we play our games often have some really interesting ways to open. They could be bad, they could be good. But we've all got favorites, and that's kind of what we're wanting to talk about today. Sharing our favorite opening cutscenes or sequences from games that Lillian came up with less than 12 hours ago. Well, yeah, it was later last night.
It was about then.
It was about then. So we each have like 2, 3. I don't know who wants to kick us off. Who wants to start everything? Anyone?
I'll kick us off.
Oh, well, I don't have visuals for yours, so go ahead.
Well, I would argue that Halo 5 has one of the best opening cutscenes.
I've not played Halo 5, but yes.
Neither.
It is just.
I agree.
Yeah, you're following, because like Halo 5 was kind of like a gut punch, because all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, I'm not playing as Master Chief. Like I'm playing a Spartan that's not Master Chief, and this isn't Halo Reach.
Yeah.
Or ODST.
And so like, you come in and you're instantly with Captain Locke, right?
Yeah.
Locke, yeah. And
so you're instantly with his fire squad, and you're like, okay, we're just gonna freaking dive into deep behind Covenant enemy lines as they're having like a little civil war thing going on. And just the environment looks great. You're skydiving into this area, and then it's totally ridiculous. But it's just so much fun because like you're sliding down a mountain and just blasting Covenant as the fire squad just kind of goes down this mountain, and like freaking ships are falling down and crashing behind you, and it's just
it's an interesting thing, because say what you will about Halo 5 being a bad game,
as a game,
it is a bad game. It is.
cough.
No, like I did not love Halo 5 as an entirety experience, but that opening, like they
It's a pretty cool
really
opening.
sat down and said, listen, we're not starting them playing Master Chief. We're starting them playing this completely new character. We have to make them think that this dude is a baddie. Like, we have to make them think this guy is just like so cool. And I mean, they do a pretty good job for the opening cutscene. After that, it kind of falls apart. But that opening cutscene is one of the coolest, like,
after that, it kind of falls apart
in the game.
It's
Like,
so
it
silly.
is just like action packed. The visuals, like Ben said, look incredible.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I mean, yeah, it as opening cutscenes go, Halo 5's is amazing. Unfortunately, that's probably the best thing about Halo.
The best
5.
part of Halo 5 is the first 5 minutes.
It's the first cutscene, and then after that, it's all downhill.
The
But
first 5
guess
minutes.
I will
There are some
still
good
periodically
moments,
just
but-
come back to it and just watch and be like, remembering when I first saw this, and I was just sitting there, like, I don't remember, I was like, like 16, 15-year-old me, just.
It's like have you seen those memes where it's like someone will post something like ridiculous, like a I don't know, like a picture of the Doomslayer in like decked out armor, and it's like guys will see this and just say heck yeah,
Yeah.
you know?
That's the
It's
Halo
like-
5 opening
It's like
cutscene.
those memes, like it is that, like it's like
Yeah.
guys will see the Halo 5 opening cutscene and just go heck yeah,
Heck yeah. That's
and they
so funny.
really will. Like
That is
It's just
that is a good one. I guess let's just go down the line then, Lillian. Which one of your two do you want to pull up first?
We'll start with Skyward Sword. I think that what I love about the way that it opens, first of all, I love the music in Skyward Sword. It is so pretty, and they open with like just such a beautiful soundtrack to start it all out. And I think like it's such a unique Zelda game because of the islands in the sky, especially of its time. Like obviously the animation could be improved, and in the HD version it's actually a lot nicer, a lot prettier than it was in the original Wii version. But it just like the colors are so pretty. I love the art style of Skyward Sword, and so having that opening cutscene where everybody's like on their birds flying around the island, and then you have like Zelda playing her harp. Anyways, it's all very pretty. So I just think that opening scene is really pretty. And then it ends up with the humor of Link falling out of bed and sleeping in late. So
A classic, you know, you gotta
Yep.
classic.
gotta
No,
walk
that
away.
is a great. Skyward Sword really hooks you into its world from the very get-go.
Yeah, it kind of
Yep.
because it
Just
has
get in
because
here.
on top of that like scene with the island, like it tells. I
yeah.
love when games like tell the background of like the world with like the illustrations on like canvas and
Mhm.
stuff.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
like
yeah,
cave paintings.
Mhm.
I think is a
Yes.
really cool way of doing it because it's like you don't want to animate a whole like crazy sequence, but like you can get across a lot of images through just like kind of these
Mhm.
abstract.
And that's a very common tactic in the Zelda openings.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
the Zelda way.
And Skyward Sword does it very well.
Yeah.
It does. All right.
It do.
I want the
It
one that
really
I
is.
want to share is this opening cutscene. This cutscene goes kind of crazy for the game. And I'm talking about the Sonic Unleashed opening cutscene. I don't think I've ever seen as good of a Sonic cutscene as the opening sequence of Sonic Unleashed because it just
I don't think I've
opens-
ever seen a Sonic cutscene.
I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever,
the Sonic
I don't think
Unleashed
I've ever seen the opening of
the
Sonic.
Sonic
Oh,
Unleashed
actually,
cutscene is like
running across
it
the
is
field.
it on top of just being beautifully animated, like it looks like an animated movie, like level of like a high budget animated film, because it just starts in space on like Eggman's like ship, and Sonic's like
Mhm.
attacking it, and so it just is kind of setting up Unleashed.
Oh, I have seen
Yeah,
that.
the Court's like
a
yep,
little bit of
alright.
it, yeah.
It is.
I didn't know it
such-
was from Unleashed.
Yeah,
but
that is the opening cutscene to Unleashed, and it's like it really gives you. It's like one of those few times in like a any kind of cutscene where you really get like like a visual representation of just how fast and powerful Sonic can be, especially in like Super Sonic and stuff. Because he's just mowing down Eggman's stuff, and then Eggman finally has to bait him into like a chamber to turn him into the werehog and like rip the power out of the Chaos Emeralds. It's just such a it's such a good way to set the game up, and for being made in like 2009, it looks incredible.
Which is this?
Sonic Unleashed.
Sonic Unleashed. That's right.
Ben's
It's
looking
the
it
one
up
where he
right now.
turns into like a werewolf.
And when he
werehog
turns into
thing.
a werehog, it's just such a well animated cutscene, and they just don't really Sonic doesn't typically isn't always known for its cutscenes, but I will say that even throughout all of Sonic Unleashed, all of its cutscenes are really well animated, at least the ones that are like full movie cutscenes, because some are just like rendered in the game engine, but the ones that are like genuinely rendered outside of the game engine are like movie grade quality animation and textures. It just looks so good, and it's such a good setup to a game that depending on who you ask and where in the game you are and what platform you played it on will determine its quality. But this cutscene doesn't miss. It is genuinely just such a good cutscene across the board. So it's kind of where I wanted to start. Cort?
Yes.
Hit me. Where are you going?
Sorry. Okay, so I had. Oh, am I just hitting? Are we doing like one at a time?
Yeah, we'll go one at a time.
Okay. What were my two? Oh, my first one was I had a few, but my first one was I love the opening to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I think
Well, you like the Mongolian band?
yes. No, like but like no, like the whole, not just like the opening cutscene or like opening, but like the whole opening sequence of that game, the whole opening level on Braca where you're on like the scrap yards. It's so cool because I mean, for a number of reasons. One, like the visuals are gorgeous, and it really gives you like, it's got a little bit of everything. It gives you the basics of like blaster, like against lightsaber combat, lightsaber against lightsaber combat, you know, all that good stuff, and like sets up the story all in a way that is very like friendly to the player and like tutorial level, you know, but it still makes you feel like you're really powerful, but not without being like, oh, like I'm super. Anyway, the coolest thing for me though is just that like Star Wars Jedi, the Jedi games, the Star Wars Jedi games, do an incredible job of balancing a very difficult line between the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy, where they happen in between the two, and they show the perfect amount of respect and homage to both. Like to like because they're in between two, but like and nowhere is that like it's made apparent that that's going to be the case from the get-go in the opening to Fallen Order, because it's like in Fallen Order's opening, you're working as a like Cal, the Jedi that you play as, is working as a scrapper.
You play as a cow?
You play as a cow?
Cow. No, Cal is working as a scrapper, like scrapping old warships.
Yeah,
from
cruisers.
From the
Calvin
Clone
and
Wars,
Hobbes
like,
Kestis.
Calvin and Hobbes Kestis. But it's like, so like one of the very first things you see is like he goes out and you just see them like just this field
of just
old,
scrapped
like,
starships
of like scrapped Venators and like, you know, like separatist ships, and like you like turn to the right in one of like the first areas that you're in, and you see like an old AT-8 or LAAT, the gunships, like Republic gunships.
Oh yeah.
No, oh no, like not those, but like
the gunships,
those too, I think. But like the gunships, like a Republic gunship, and then like a whole bunch of like scrapped droids right next to it, and like some clone armor and stuff. Like, and like you're making through most of the opening, you're like making your way through a Venator, like that's being like in the process of being scrapped, and it's like it's such a cool scene because at the same time you're like, once you get discovered as a Jedi and whatnot, you're still fighting Imperials and stuff, but you're doing it to the background of like
the Clone Wars, basically
aftermath of the Clone Wars, you know, like, and it's like you're seeing in real time the transition of these like Clone Wars era things into these original trilogy era things, and it balances it so well. And in the opening, it makes it immediately clear that that's going to be kind of the feel for the whole rest of the series, and it is. Like even in Jedi Survivor, the sequel, the presence of the Clone Wars is still felt super heavily because like a big part of the bad guys, like a big faction of the bad guys in that game are using, there's a crashed big like separatist like dreadnought ship, Lucre Hulk, that had a bunch of droids on it still that they reprogrammed to work for them. So you're fighting reprogrammed droids and reprogrammed separatist ships for like much of Jedi Survivor. And then Fallen Order is not, I mean, it's just more like there's like flashbacks and stuff, and you have to fight clones during Order 66 and things like that. But it does a really good job balancing that. And then also it's just fun. Like there's a whole like train escape scene where like you have to like make your way down this train it's getting shot at.
Mm-hmm.
And you have your lightsaber and you're like learning how to like basically it's cool because it contextualizes you learning how to do all these different force things as like Cal kind of making himself remember how to do these things in the moment, because he's been repressing his force abilities for the past like 5 years. And so he's kind of like forcing himself to remember to do all this stuff. Like how to do this stuff. And so it kind of uses that background as uses that as like the vehicle for which you are like now learning how to play the game. And it just does such a good job. Like the environment, the gameplay, the everything, like the way it sets up the story and the characters is just so good. Like the opening sequence of Jedi Fallen Order is just like cool. I will sometimes go back and like not even play the whole game again, but just play the opening sequence, just to like play it because it's fun, you know. Like, yeah,
it is a fun opening sequence.
Sweet. All right, Ben.
And it hooks
with your next one.
Next one. All right, I'm gonna sound kind of like a broken record.
If I hear another Halo game.
No, Helldivers 2.
Oh, okay. I do not know of the Helldivers opening.
So Helldivers doesn't really have much in terms of story, other than like what you get from it, from like playing the game. But it's basically, in the future, you have Super Earth, which is all of the countries of the Earth united together under one government.
Like that would happen.
It's basically, well, it could, considering that the fact that this government is completely tyrannical and.
Oh, okay. No, okay. In that case, yes.
They proclaim democracy, like they proclaim democracy to a sense of like fanaticism. They're like, oh, democracy is our way of life, but the thing is, it's called managed democracy.
Managed democracy, okay.
Where you put in your vote and then the computer decides the outcomes.
Why? What?
It's like they're all about democracy, but they're entirely undemocratic. That's the whole fun point of it. But anyways, the beginning of like when you open up the game, it plays a little intro cutscene, which is basically like a propaganda recruiting video, where it's like, do you have what it takes to be free? And like it shows a guy kind of walking through like this suburban neighborhood, and he's like, democracy, our way of life.
Do you have what it takes to be free?
He comes up to his family. He's like, oh, my family. And then this bug comes in and kills his wife and kid. The camera cuts away before like happens.
Yeah.
But, like the husband is like, he like falls to his knees like, sweet liberty. And then it cuts to him game. Like it's like, you know, the Zuko, not the Zuko, Kuzco from Emperor's New Groove. Where he's like in front of the screen of himself.
Oh, the
the same husband comes in and he's like, you see that? That could be you. Unless you have what it takes to join the Helldivers. And it's like,
what a silly, that's so funny.
It's the thing about this game, and it has so much soul, and it's so funny, and it's satirical representation of like hyper imperialist propaganda.
What it takes to be free. That line, I don't know what it is about that line, but it's so dumb.
Yeah, and then it's just him kind of like, you can go and visit new life forms, spread democracy, and then like it's them just blowing up bugs and robots. And so
that's awesome.
It's really funny, and
I was not familiar with your game, like, Helldivers. I was not familiar. That's
because the whole like Heck Divers. Let's keep it PG, but isn't it like its whole story is like super satirical, right? Like,
it's super sarcastic. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of Starship Troopers, but it's basically Starship Troopers the game. It's where you have a super like tyrannical 1984 style government that claims it's like pure democracy and has like sheer hyper patriotism, and you're like going off and it's very satirical in its way of showing this.
That's so funny.
I want to play it so bad. You guys have no idea.
There's nothing stopping you, brother.
Unless you only have an
price tag
Xbox.
and the long queue times.
The queue times are fixed now.
Oh, they fixed?
Yeah, I did hear
All right,
the
I might
updates.
have to buy it.
That's
then.
awesome. That's awesome.
The price tag is $40. If you're willing to pay $70 for
A Fortnite Battle Pass.
Tears of the Kingdom,
Fortnite Battle Pass. All right, Lillian, hit us with your next one.
All right. I had a hard time deciding between the two most recent Zelda games but I ultimately settled on Breath of the Wild because I feel like Breath of the Wild's opening cutscene is more of an opening cutscene. Like, Tears of the Kingdom has an opening sequence that is horrible. Everybody hates the Tears of the Kingdom
Cort?
opening sequence.
You have thoughts?
Wait, what? Wait.
Where you're
everyone
just
hates-
like in the cave, like before anything happens, like in the story where you're just in the cave with Zelda. A lot of people are really like, because you have to like wait so long to get to the actual game.
I kind of
People
liked
who
it, honestly. I thought it was kind of nice to have a little quiet moment with Zelda. Like, it kind of showed that, like, at least for a little while, that they
That's
had some
true.
peace, you know?
I find at least of a lot of the, I mean, I watch a lot of speedrunners, so of course I have a different perspective of a game. But a lot of people don't like that the cutscenes are unskippable, and that like they want to get to the gameplay.
The speedrunner's perspective on cutscenes, huh?
Getting to the gameplay, obviously. But I find that the Breath of the Wild cutscene was just like the Tears of the Kingdom opening sequence is fun. But the Breath of the Wild opening cutscene is just, it was so unique to a Zelda game. I mean, it wasn't really super, but like it established that new world.
Yeah, because he like walks out of like the little cave he's
Yeah,
in, and
he
it's just
walks
like
out of
the
the cave,
whole
and it's
world
just
is
like
in front
this
of him.
Huge, massive world, which
Yeah.
at the time it was like definitely one of the biggest open world games.
I think so. Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it came out, it
felt
was
like
one of
it,
the
because
bigger.
it was because of how it was developed. Like, it felt
Yeah.
super big.
It felt so big, and
so big.
I feel like Tears of the Kingdom's big opening cutscene where you see the world is almost like a repeat of the Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild.
The rehash.
It's like a repeat of the same thing, and so I feel like I kind of had to go with the original, the Breath of the Wild.
That actually. Do we have time for me to go on a little bit of a tangent
Yeah,
about Tears
go
of the
for
Kingdom
it.
versus Breath of the Wild?
Yes.
Okay.
If you want to.
Because this actually brings up, I feel like that same sentiment can be brought into a lot of Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes.
A lot of things about Tears of the Kingdom. I was talking about this with my brother the other day, and then because I was reading some stuff about it, and it's like Tears of the Kingdom, ever since it came out, like, it is a fantastic game. Like,
Mhm.
it is so
False.
fun, and it's awesome and so well made.
I'm kidding.
But it feels like from the very beginning of playing it, and even just playing through it now, it still kind of like feels like something is just a little off, or like just a little
Mhm.
missing, you know? And
Yeah.
like, it
There's
took
no
me
battle
forever to
pass. The
place
game's
it.
not good.
Ah,
There's a
there it
battle pass.
is.
It took me a while to place it and like really kind of like
He mused over
understand it, but I saw a post, or like I watched this big like review where it was like this big Zelda YouTuber, and he like
Mhm.
took like months and months, and then eventually posted like this hour-long Tears of the Kingdom review. I did not watch the whole thing, but I watched the end. And it's kind of, and he described it really well, where he kind of said that like the biggest problem with Tears of the Kingdom is that like basically he described it as this. He described it as people, when Tears of the Kingdom came out, were making all these jokes and making fun of it by saying, oh, Tears of the Kingdom is just DLC for Breath of the Wild. It's
Mhm.
just a super overpriced DLC, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, here's the thing. He's like, I originally completely disagreed with them, and I
But
still
they-
do to a degree.
They
but
might have a point.
he's like, here's the thing. he's like, the more I played it, he's like, the more I realized that they're right in a certain sense in that, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is kind of just a massive Breath of the Wild expansion pack. And he's like, but here's the thing. He's like, it is the biggest, most well-developed expansion pack of all time.
Yes.
More than worth the $70 it's asking for, but an expansion pack nonetheless, because it feels like the same game, you know.
So the biggest the biggest problem with Tears of the Kingdom is that Breath of the Wild exists.
Pretty much.
I mean, like,
honestly,
is that what this is?
The way I was able to explain it to my brother while I was talking with him is basically like, if you take a look at the difference between Skyward Sword and Wind Waker, or Skyward Sword and
Twilight Princess.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Twilight
like
Princess. It's like think of it like fruits. It's like if Wind Waker is an apple, and then Skyward Sword is an orange, and then Twilight Princess is a banana or something. I don't know. Like they're all distinct enough that they're like their own fruits. But then if Breath of the Wild is a mango, for instance, Tears of the Kingdom is still a mango.
Oh,
like it's.
I thought you were about to try and toss out like another fruit.
No, like no. And I think that's what, is it.
It's maybe a better mango, a more ripe mango that maybe you plucked off the tree.
A better an amazing mango that is still absolutely delicious and a joy to eat. But it's still a
mango.
But it's still a mango. It's not a brand new fruit. Which is where I think a lot of people's like frustration with it came from. Even if it's where like my initial feeling of like there's something off came from. Even if I couldn't really pin it at the time, I think that's really what it is that it's just like each Zelda game feels so different from each other, and even games that are like sequels to other games, you know, feel whereas Tears of the Kingdom
even
doesn't
Majora's
feel
Mask
like a
versus
new
Ocarina of Time
game.
still feel very different.
Still feel very different. Or even games that are like sequels in a series, like Uncharted 2 to Uncharted 3, or like feel different enough, you know, like where Tears of the Kingdom, it feels like it's the same fruit as Breath of the Wild. It's an amazing fruit, and it's a delicious fruit, and we love it. But like, I feel like describing it as a $70 massive game-sized expansion pack that is 100% awesome and worth its price, but not its own brand new game, if that makes sense, is a much more like
accurate,
fair way to look at Tears of the Kingdom.
Because
which
even
is just
like
kind of an interesting,
like the way that the dungeons are, it's like they're all in kind of the same places as they were before.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of like just they kind of redid Breath of the Wild with the different ideas.
With different ideas, exactly. And so like, it again. This is not to bag on Tears of the Kingdom at all. Like, it is still an amazing.
It's still a really great game.
But I think that's where that initial kind of like.
And that's why when choosing like a favorite cutscene, I did kind of lean more towards Breath of the Wild over Tears of the Kingdom, because it had, especially when you played it for the first time back when it came out, it had so much more of that wow factor, of that just like, oh my gosh, this game is amazing. Especially because Tears of the Kingdom felt so much like Breath of the Wild.
Right. Exactly. No, and I definitely agree.
No. That checks out. Anyways, now that we're Cort's gotten off his soapbox.
Sorry, I had to
I agree with what you were saying very much.
All right. My next one is this is less like, it is an opening cutscene, but it's more the opening title sequence. Because it happens as soon as you boot the game up, you run through it, and then if you watch it or skip it, you go to the main menu. So it opens every time, and I think this opening sequence, this opening like cinematic, or like the opening, it really encapsulates. Like once you watch it, when it happens and you're watching it, doesn't matter like if it's your first time playing the game or your 50 millionth time opening the game, it just always like captures like. When you watch and after you watch, you know exactly like what you're getting with this game, like what to expect in terms of like the atmosphere. And that's the Burnout 3 like opening cinematic sequence. Because it's just showing just total carnage on the streets of the game, all to the backing of Lazy Generation by F-Ups, and it just perfectly encapsulates like what Burnout 3 is as a game. Because you could have never played it, but you watch this opening sequence and you're just like, okay, I think I know what I'm about to get into. I'm in for some just utter chaos to punk rock music. And it just does such a good job of like setting your expectations at the perfect level of what you're about to just embark on for however long you're going to be playing the game in a session, because it's just total carnage. Just all of the shots are just cars ramming into each other or blowing up into tankers or just fiery fireballs down a tunnel. It's just such a fun cutscene to just awesome music, and it just like doesn't do anything to make you think that like you're like, oh, what am I getting into? Like, oh, world building. Like, it's like this is a carnage racing game. There is no world building. It's just cars go fast and cars run into each other. It just sets the scene for just how you can just turn your brain off and just have fun. And I think there aren't many other like opening sequences to a game where you just boot it up and it just immediately is like, here you go, get ready for it.
Lets you know what you're in for.
Exactly. So I just love Burnout. Burnout 3's, I love Burnout 3's opening sequence. So, Cort, hit us with your next one.
My second one is, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record a little bit because I was talking about this last time, but last time, and I guess we lost that audio.
We mentioned it for you.
But Uncharted, the Uncharted games.
I don't understand, Cort. We never mentioned this before.
What? No, but the Uncharted games. You guys just all gaslight me into believing that we never filmed that episode.
Yeah.
What episode?
What episode? But the Uncharted games all have great openings, all have strong, fun, things. But Uncharted 2's opening,
where he's freaking dangling off of a cliff,
is probably one of the most iconic and just awesome openings of all time. Because like you press new game and it does not give you an ounce of context. It does not give you an ounce of story. It just throws you in. You're Nathan Drake. You're your character from the first game. Also, you're in a train that's hanging off of a cliff
and you're bleeding.
And you're about to fall out. Like you're bleeding out. You're like hanging out of a train that's about to fall off of a cliff.
Yep.
And then it's just like no cutscene, no like story explaining how you got there. Like it's
just writing to try and climb up the train.
It's like climb. Like if you don't climb, this train is going to fall and you will die. Go climb like right now. and so then you just climb up this train. Like you have to get out. Then finally like you get up, you lie down, and then like there's like a flashback, and it kind of gives you like some context as to why you're here, or begins to, and then you wake up again. And then immediately you're thrown into like this like fight, like this like firefight. Like the bad guys come with the guns and you have to like survive, and it's just like immediately it throws you right in. And then does it, and then like once you've gotten all that cool action out of the way, then it like will like give you the context and kind of like but it's not one of those like cop-out ones either where it's like oh, this is a scene from farther on in the story that we're just showing you at the beginning to which isn't always bad, but it's not one of those, at least if I remember correctly. I might be remembering wrong. But
Cort over here just
like I'm pretty sure that it's just like they throw you in and then it's just like you're thrown in and you're just like
those are like the best kind of opening sequences and cutscenes where it like gives you like a bit of a cutscene and then it's like you're just in the game with no explanation of what's going on. You're just suddenly there and the game's like, all right, good luck.
Yeah, no, for real. And it's just like, yeah, and then it does like slowly build up over time, like like how you got there and what's going on, and like gives you that context. But it's like it wastes absolutely no time just throwing you in the thick of it, and you're just like, and it's so fun, like, and it's such like a mind-boggling, like, I don't know, it's a very cool opening, like. And I remember reading about it even before I played it, just because people were like reminiscing about like I was trying to jog my memory on what I had a third one in mind, but like I couldn't remember what it was. and I was trying to jog my memory, and I googled like best video game openings just to see if it was like it would pop up. Like the third one on my mind that I was like trying to remember. Because I was trying to jog my memory.
Watch Mojo to do his job.
Hi, welcome to Watch Mojo. Today
And,
we're going to be talking about the top 10 video game opening cutscenes of all time.
Openings. No, but like, and in all of them, it came up as, you know, Uncharted 2's was up there, and I was like, I chose that one right. That was a good choice. I didn't use any of the ones. I was just.
That's so funny that you just Google. You're like you got a validation. Let me make sure that my favorite cutscene is one. I need validation that one of my favorite cutscenes is one of the best of all time.
I don't believe myself.
I don't believe
Are
myself.
my opinions correct?
No. I knew it. I knew it.
Okay.
What the third one was.
Okay.
Yeah, no. What the
That's
other one I
funny.
had was, but yeah.
All right, Ben. Do you have a third one?
Not really, not right now.
Okay,
I don't watch. I play many games that have beginning cutscenes.
We won't force one out of you. Cort just walked away. Okay, so Ben, it was Ben's turn. Now it's Cort's turn to walk away. Lillian, you didn't give me a third one, so I'm going to assume you don't have a third one.
Not really, no.
Okay.
I mean, I like a lot of the Zelda openings. I do like the classic style of the 3D Zelda games where it starts with the backstory. So all of those are high up on my list.
So Cort, I'm assuming you did figure out that third one. I think you and I both have third ones. Kind of.
Kind of. So I couldn't eventually. I couldn't narrow it down. I realized I actually had a few that I wanted to talk about that were just like really quick, like more like honorable mentions.
Okay, so
you know?
I've got an actual third one, but we can throw out some.
Okay, you go actual
then.
third one, then I'll give my honorable mentions.
Okay, I'll do my third one, and then we can all throw out honorable mentions. This one.
Cort really pulling out the Watch Mojo right now.
Yeah, he is. Okay, so this cutscene, this opening cutscene, it's another one of those that comes up when the game opens, and you can skip it or whatnot. And it was one of those where it's like after you've seen it like 3 or 4 times, you're like, okay, skip it. I don't need to see this. But now in 2024, we all wish. All of us that still play this game wish we could open up Overwatch and see Winston going, hello? Is this thing on? Is this working? The Winston, the original Overwatch is like Winston, like kind of cutscene. Like it didn't, after you've seen it a bunch and played the game a bunch, it like didn't feel, you know, you're just like skipping it. But now that Overwatch 1 doesn't exist anymore, you just kind of like look back at that cutscene. It's just like, it really was. It kind of got you pumped up, especially the first time you boot up Overwatch and you see that cutscene of just like, oh, this is kind of important, and it just like Winston ending with like the glasses off, just are you with me, just into the camera. It's just such a good setup, even though Overwatch is the game is like, you know, just the game has nothing really to do technically with the story. It's like Helldivers kind of thing where it's like the opening sets up this world, but then the gameplay is technically unrelated in terms of like story, but it just kind of does a job making you like feel like there's a lot of stakes here, that there's a universe that has been built and thought out. And then like even the trailer version of it where it goes and shows like all the Overwatch heroes to like play the game music, it's just such a it still gives me goosebumps when I go back and watch it now, because it's just such a good opening cutscene, and it's just so well animated and just does such a good job at setting things up, despite like regardless of whether or not it actually means anything. But I really like it as an opening. It's really good.
The music goes so hard. Like,
oh, it does.
The Overwatch music is consistently one of the best parts of the game, I feel like that doo, 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 you know, like that whole like little like tune, and it's just like, yeah, it's a really, it's kind of like, I almost want to use the word majestic, like little
it does
speech
have
that
some...
Winston gives when he's talking about that, like the legacy of the Overwatch. Like, it's what really hooked me, like,
yeah, that
into like the
sequence.
Story of the game more than just about anything else, was just like how like cool it sounded, and like
so
how
cool.
like, I don't know. Yeah.
It was
No,
like,
I 100%
someone needs
agree
to
with
do
that.
something. We need to do something. I was
Yeah,
like,
exactly,
okay, Winston, calm
exactly.
down, calm down. It's the correct way to do a propaganda video. Helldivers is the other way to do a propaganda video.
There's the correct way and
There's the correct
other
way,
way.
and there's the other way.
There's the heartfelt way and then there's the satirical way.
This could be
No,
you
yeah,
if you.
100%.
So yeah, that's the third one. Okay, now we open the floor to honorable mentions.
Okay, I've got like 2 or 3. One of my
Jeez.
honorable mentions, I didn't put it down because I figured someone else would use it, and I was
Oh.
right. It was Breath of the Wild. I
Oh, well,
think that
it's already been
that-
mentioned
I
then.
didn't want. I don't. That's not really like an honorable mention, but it was one that I was considering. But I was like, someone else is probably gonna put it, so I'm not gonna write it. But yeah, it's awesome.
That's someone else being
The
me.
other two, yeah, the other ones, or the other 3, I guess, that I was thinking of. I guess it's technically the other like 5, but
What?
the other, it's hear me out. The opening sequences to Spider-Man, the 2018 video game, like
Okay.
Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Spider-Man 2.
It's the whole series of games.
All 3 of the Insomniac Spider-Man games are really, really cool.
Okay.
Like, they're not like quite, I feel like, Jedi Fallen Order cool, but like it's like in each one, it just throws you into it and has you facing down like a big bad immediately from the get-go, and like just kind of shows you, like, sets you up in the world, sets you up with the character. Like in Spider-Man 1's, I think, is the best because it's like it opens and it's just like Peter's apartment, and then he wakes up, he quickly gets ready, like an alert goes off on the police radio that is like we're about to, you know, take down Wilson Fisk, and he like, and you just like get to see him going through his morning routine, quickly putting on his suit, and then like as the music plays, and then he just jumps out the window in his Spider-Man suit, and then you're just immediately swinging down the street on your way over there.
There you go.
And then like you're right into the story. Like you're learning how to swing. You have to like fight some bad guys who are attacking some cops along the way. Then you go and you're like have this whole opening sequence where you're up against like Kingpin and all of his bad guys, and like and then you actually have to like fight Kingpin. Such a cool like opening sequence, and you just get right into the Spider-Man action, because the whole concept behind like the story of it is that this is a Spider-Man who's been doing this for like 8 years by this point.
Yeah.
Like he's a seasoned Spider-Man. And so like and so it really just throws you into it, and it totally works.
Seasoned.
And then with Miles Morales, it's kind of a similar thing where like it just throws you right into like the very first thing you do pretty much is throws you right into this like mission where you and Peter go and take down Rhino. And then Spider-Man 2, it's you and Peter and Miles go and take down Sandman, and it's like it just throws you right into it. The first one's the best, but all 3 of them are honestly have incredible, just like get you right into the action openings that really just set the tone. The other 2, I'll go over them really quick. One is my all-time one, you know, the one I'll come back to all the time and say a million times over. Fortnite. No, just kidding.
I was about to be like, does Fortnite have
You're
one?
like, what? No. Star Wars: The Force Unleashed.
That one is a very good. That is
That
a very
one
good
is
opening
really cool.
sequence.
Yes, I have to
Because
say
it's
that
just
was one I actually
very
thought
first
about.
mission- Yeah, the very first mission, it just sets you loose as a fully powered up Darth
Vader.
You can't die. Like literally, I tried. You
Yeah, he just
cannot
blocks,
die.
auto
Like, you
blocks
will not
all of everything.
Yeah, like you can't die. You just go in, like you can kill your own dudes, you can kill your own
Yeah.
stormtroopers, you can just lay waste to the Wookiees. You're just
You just
as
mow
powerful
people.
as you'll ever be. Like you're just super powerful, just fully powered up Vader, just going through and just wrecking people.
Yeah.
And it's such a great way to show that, like, it shows that this game is one where the Force is actually going to be unleashed, and you're going to be able to just pick people up and chuck them, you know, like, and
It's so
do all this
fun.
crazy stuff. And it just, like, the idea, whoever had that idea of, like, how should we introduce this game? And someone was like, let's just throw him in as Vader for the very first level. Like,
Have him
give
kill
that
some
man a
kid's
raise.
dad and then like
Like,
abduct
yeah,
the
like-
child.
Abduct the child, like give that man a raise, because that level is so fun, and it just
It's
throws
so
you in
good.
as Vader, and it's like
It's
straight
so
from the get-go.
good.
It's
So good.
super good.
That's an awesome opening sequence.
The last one that I had that I was like, I don't really know how to say it, but I kind of want to, is just, and this is a weird one because, and this is how I don't really know how to say it, but Minecraft. Like, and like, hear me out. Hear me out. Minecraft, because it doesn't really have an opening, like, and it really is only that very first time playing it, and a little bit in subsequent times, but Minecraft's opening is literally just that, like, you just spawn in, and it's that immediate, like, hitting the first tree in the world and like getting that first little bit of wood, crafting the first crafting
Cort,
bench,
by that
finding a
logic,
good
you
place
could
to
say
build a house.
Fortnite does that too.
Yeah, but like Minecraft has that, like,
I really like it
some...
when Roblox put you right into the game.
Roblox puts you right into
menu.
the game.
No, okay.
I feel
but,
like I'm back in Amazon searching for my next
Cort,
item
I
purchase.
don't know if Minecraft counts.
This one was a stretch. This one was a stretch, but
It's not even a
like,
stretch.
there's
It's not
nothing
even the
quite-
same neighborhood.
No, but like there's nothing quite like that starting up a new Minecraft world feel.
That
and I
has
feel like
nothing
that's...
to do with an opening cutscene.
But that is kind of the opening
It's
of,
the opening
of each
to
Minecraft world.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, like,
okay.
I think it's a different kind of opening, but it's still an opening to each Minecraft world, and it's iconic, and it's fun, and it's just like
Iconic. It's
loading
different
into a
for
brand
everyone.
new Minecraft world. Like loading into a brand new Minecraft world, like it's just there's just something about it, you know, like it just has vibes that are unmatched. Like I don't know, there's just it's a feeling. It's
That
a,
is
it's a
such
whole
that
thing,
is such
man.
a stretch. That is so that is
I
such a
think
stretch.
that counts as an opening.
It's
It's a different kind of opening, but it is an opening for that.
yeah, it's a different kind of
I don't
opening
know.
in that there is no opening.
Exactly, but it's like
Nope.
it's the opening of the
Vetoed. Vetoed.
Anyway, no, I think it works.
I've
but
got some
that's-
honor. I've got one or two. I think the opening sequence to Portal 2 is pretty, like,
That one's
that
pretty
whole
good.
like you kind of like wake
is
up
a
a
good
few
one.
times and you just kind of like slowly
Wake up-
see that the laboratory around the whole facility is just dying, and then suddenly it's the announcer breaks, you hear a knock at the door, and Wheatley comes wandering in. You're like, what the heck is going on here? And just that initial exchange, it's just like, I want you to say apple, jump. Okay, what you've done there is jump. I
Wait,
want you to
what you did there
say
is jump.
apple. And then just
And I
like,
love that the game prompts you, like,
yeah, the
press
game
space
prompts you to do it
say apple.
again. And then just like the
And
exchange
then you
about
press
like
space, it just jumps.
the exchange about like Chell's like situation of like, so I have some bad news. You might have a minor case of serious brain damage, but not to worry. Like, it's just the
Minor case of
game.
serious brain damage.
Like the game just like picks up and it just like basically in like the nicest way possible tells you everything has gone to crap. Everything is broken. But it's okay.
Well, and I love how, like, immediately the game doesn't just like bring GLaDOS back in like some weird, you know, like, oh, she's like still alive. Like, you accidentally turn her back on, like, and it's like, and like that happens like immediately, and
Yeah,
it's
it
just like
is.
it's such a funny way to like bring her back as the villain, because it's like basically just because you and Wheatley are just stumbling around goofing stuff up in the
You accidentally
factory,
flip
you
every single
accidentally
switch
turn GLaDOS
on.
back on. Yeah, like
Funny.
it's such a smart way
Yeah,
to
Portal 2's
especially
opening
since
is so good.
Portal 1 is a little like lighter on story. It's such
Portal
a good
1
way
doesn't
to, like,
even technically doesn't even have a
really, like-
story, really.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really good way to kind of introduce it.
Portal 2's opening is a very good. So another one I want to point is Halo 2's opening sequence. That whole just like
A battle that
you're
on
getting
Cairo Station.
you're getting your medal, and then suddenly it's just like, oh, they're back, boys. The Covenant is here, and you just end the whole thing with Master Chief basically taking a Covenant nuke
Mr.
and
Chef.
just flying it through space.
giving the Covenant back their bomb.
Yeah,
No, like,
it's
well, it's
Sir.
crazy because it's not. Sure. No, but like, it's not even like they're back. It's like a whole like
The
the whole
continuation,
like
yeah.
concept in the first game. Like they make a big point about how the Covenant has never found Earth. Like they've been fighting like on different planets that humanity is
And they
colonized,
found
but they
you.
don't know where humanity is like based. Like they've never found Earth. And so like it's a huge deal when you're there on this Earth orbiting station getting this big medal, and then suddenly this whole Covenant fleet rolls up and you're like, fetch, they found Earth. Like they know where we're from now. Like it's like a big deal. And then
They
it's like
know
you have
where
to hold
we're
them off and like
from.
Like, it is a really cool sequence.
Just all of the Halo 5. Halo 5 is kind of in its own, and so is Halo 4. But like Halo 1 through 3, like the main line, the openings are all just so good. Like Halo 3 just opening with you crash landing to Earth is so cool. You just crash landing to Earth, and then
Halo
suddenly
1 opening with like literally just like our like Reach just got destroyed.
Yeah,
like
Reach
we're running away, and we happen to run into this like cool like ring. Like Halo 1 literally opens with them waking up Master Chief and being like, we're screwed, can you please help? And he's just like, yeah, okay. And then he just takes a gun and starts blasting. Like it's
well, and
like,
even like, and say what you will about Halo 4, Halo 4's opening is also kind of, because it's like, you start Halo 4 and the last you saw Chief is like him and Cortana are just kind of like floating through space. So Halo 4 starts and it's like Cortana's just like waking you up and she's like, yeah, it's been a long time. We're in trouble, Chief.
We're in trouble. Please help. Yeah,
it's the Halo games all have pretty good openings, so those were some of mine.
Kind of on that same level. That was the other one that I was gonna say. It's been a long time since I played this, but I was reminded of this when I was looking through some other like stuff about it, like some other Watch Mojo top 10, like the other like just other like cool openings. And the opening to Doom 2016 is also a super solid, because it's like you wake up and you're just like out there just like beating up demons and stuff, and it's like the game kind of tries to tell you the story where it's like you have like the villain, the Samuel Hayden, like this villain character, like kind of like monologuing at you through like this intercom where he's like trying to give you this background about like, oh, like this, and then the Doom Slayer literally just like smashes the intercom like out of anger, and then it like flashes the title screen, and then like it starts playing the like super upbeat music, and then like it like cuts the music, and the music finishes with, instead of the last two notes, it's just the Doom Slayer like cocking his shotgun back and forth. You're like, and that's the last two music notes of the final like, and then it just goes awesome. Right into him just like beating people, like just like
that's a good
wreaking
one.
Havoc, and like it's a great way to introduce Doom or reintroduce Doom. I guess
that's a good one. The final one before we close, I'll give a shout out to the one that Kyle mentioned, because Kyle was when this topic was introduced. So Kyle, if Kyle was here, he would mention Nier Automata's opening sequence. I would not, and he may not agree with me on that one. Nier Automata's opening sequence it opens essentially. It's like you've gone to Earth as 2B with your squadron, and then like your squadron basically just gets decimated, and it's just you. And so the rest of the opening sequence, which is basically somewhat uses the tutorial, is you kind of like landing, finding the big enemy that you were trying to find, and then that kind of boss fight. The first level, the very first bits of the opening sequence are a bullet hell sequence, which I'm kind of on the fence of whether or not I like that. I opened like a JRPG that's like hack and slash sort of with a bullet hell sequence. Like, I like that bullet hell's used in the game. I think that the opening is kind of hit or miss. Kyle seems to think that is one of the best ones ever. I think it's kind of it's good. I think it's a good opening sequence, but I think it kind of falls a little flat compared to something like Force Unleashed or like some of these other ones, because you kind of get a feeling of like, oh, things are in danger, but it's like it's not very hard. Or where it's like, that's okay. Like, Force Unleashed isn't very hard, but there's a reason it's not very hard. You're freaking Darth Vader. But Nier Automata is not being super difficult, at least unless, like, if you're playing on the normal difficulty especially, it's just like, okay. I don't really feel like there's a whole lot going on here. So I don't know. Kyle may come after me for saying that. I don't know.
All right, I've got one more honorable mention, more for the humor.
Oh.
I find it hilarious, Palworld's opening sequence, because it is pretty much identical to Pokemon Legends Arceus' opening. Like, really? It's just like a random person like washing up on a beach, and it's like literally visually, it's like in Pokemon Legends Arceus, you have like 3 Pokemon like standing over you as you like open your eyes. And in Palworld, it's like 3 pals standing over you as you open your eyes on the beach after washing up and having no memory of what has happened.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I find that just hilarious how similar they are. And then like 2 seconds later, in Legends Arceus, you get like whatever the like Pokedex is, and then like you get the PAL deck in.
Wait, that's so on the nose. What the heck?
I feel like literally Power World was just like they saw Legends Arceus like the trailer and they were like, "This is finally the Pokemon game we've been waiting for." And then it came out and it wasn't, and they were
and
like,
they just decided to
"We can
make
do
it
it better.
Fine, we're gonna make it then."
Yeah.
Thanos, fine, I'll do it myself.
Fine,
Yep.
I'll do it myself.
This-
So that's just an honorable mention for
That's
the
fun.
funny parallel.
I'm watching someone's like recording of YouTube on the PAL board opening,
Uh-huh.
and it's just so funny because like when it pulls up to show like the person after like you view the 3 PAL standing over you, this character they made has the most ridiculous proportions.
Oh.
Yeah.
Character
They got
model.
legs the size of their torso.
Make, like arc characters.
Me when my custom character shows up in the cutscene.
Mhm.
Well, I know I love it because it's like Arc has that too, where you can mess with the Arc
Yeah.
games have that too, where you can mess with the characters' proportions like to a ridiculous degree and make them look just
Mhm.
absolutely goofy. And then it's like, and then this game does it too, and it's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just found that really funny when
That's
when
fun.
I first saw the opening to Palette World. I was like, wait, it's literally just the same exact thing as Legends Arceus.
That's awesome. Sweet. All right. I think that's it. Anyone got anything final to say before we end? Okay, take us out, Lillian.
All right. Nice the D-Pad is a publication of the Daily Universe. We'd like to give a special thanks to Alan Neves and Miles Romney for everything they have done and continue to do to help support us and continue to be able to do this podcast. Also, if you'd like to reach out to us with feedback, ideas for topics, or just to say hello, you can shoot us an email at knightsofthedpadpodcast@gmail.com. With that, let's sign off. My name is Lillian.
Cort, why are you raising your hand?
Because I remembered what the third one was that I
No,
really wanted to
okay,
say
no,
it.
no,
We're
no,
doing the
no,
outro. I'm
No.
Ben.
Wait,
Say I'm Cort.
It's
Say your name, Cort.
it's Outer Worlds. It's really good. I'll talk
Okay.
about it later. I'm Cort.
And I'm Aidan. Finish the thing.
And we are the Knights of the D-Pad. See you next time.
See you guys.